Hello everyone, this is SirGavin bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary of another game that I lose. This is me as the red Zerg at the far left of the map. Now I'm playing against SirNukesALot, the blue protoss at the far right of the map, ironically enough, as his name is SirNukesALot. I'm going to speed this up to ×4 since not a whole lot happens at the beginning of this game. As I have mentioned before, Protoss is my least favorite race to play against, so we'll see how I manage to hold up in this game. And we're both just doing a scouting here, him with his probe. I sent out a drone. I get a 14 pool, 13 gas in this game, which is a pretty standard opening that I do in a lot of my games. I find it's fairly safe as opposed to going a quick 15 hatch. And I actually don't scout too much in the scouting I just did. I just see his gateway and cybernetics core, so I feel like I decided to follow it up with a Zergling scout, and I actually see him place down his robo bay here. And with that info, I'm fairly certain that I'm safe from a 4-gate, so I don't get any defense too early, and decide that I feel pretty safe against early aggression. So I pop down my expansion, and I'm more or less just droning up here. And I actually get a roach warren right here, and this is obviously the roaches, but right after that I pop down my baling nest, because in this game, this is actually the first game that I decided to use a new strategy against the infamous Protoss Colossi Deathball. This game I actually go Zergling, Baneling, Infester, as you can see my infestation pit's coming down right now. So he actually... Oh, I thought he had a observer in my base at this point, but I guess not. But he does attack me. An early Colossi gateway push. And I actually find out that this composition of Zergling Baneling is kind of decent. My Balings do pretty good work of his gateway units, and I try to chase him down and try and finish off this Colossi, but that doesn't go quite as well as I hope. He walks over to this little cliff here and just starts picking away at my Zerglings as I run around. It's kind of annoying, but you know, that's what Protoss are, kind of annoying, but that's fine. So at this point, as I have successfully defended, I feel confident in expanding to my third, as well as getting out my first infestors now that my pathogen glands have finished researching. And he actually attacks my third, not as safe as I had thought. I decide at this point to counterattack because I'm expecting him to come into my main. And because of that, not only do I counterattack, I believe I pop down a whole bunch of spine crawlers, which are actually kind of late since he's already gone from my expo. But oh well, good defense for later. I also realize, since he comes back and takes those lings out quite handily, I probably should have attacked his expansion into his mineral line. And I think I probably would have did some decent damage in there. I had about 20 Zerglings, so that was one of my first mistakes, I think, although a fairly minor mistake at that. And so at this point, we're both just building up our forces, droning up. I'm working on my melee attacks, getting my Spire, of course, as Corruptors do excellently versus Colossi, so I'm working towards them. Building up Miami, droning up, getting my Hive as well, with the intention of, at some point later in the game, getting Broodlords. As Broodlords are pretty OP for any Zerg players out there who use them. I'm also re-getting my third expo. And another mistake I think I made in this game was with my creep. I, for some reason, decided just to get a line of creep from my base down into his base, or down towards his base at least, which is not a bad idea, but would probably be better to get a creep spread all over the map rather than just this single line. And the next little battle here is actually coming up pretty soon. I've moved out to get into the open ground, which is advantageous for my quick units here. And I do pretty good work against his gateway units once again, and I make a mistake here. I get some fungals off, but I was trying to hit neural with the N instead of E, and kind of screwed those neurals up. But eventually do get them in here, and eventually start making them attack themselves as well here. Yep, I was also not quite thinking straight there. For some reason, though, he just leaves his guys there and lets me neural them again, and I get to take out an extra colossi. So that confrontation actually went pretty well for me. I was could have went a little bit better, obviously, but I was pleased overall with that how it went. And at this point, after that, I'm actually up in resources lost. So I think I was doing pretty decent there, so far at least. And I try and do some counter damage to his expo. Try to take that out. For some reason I leave it. I should have taken out that Nexus. But I did get to take out a decent number of his gateway units there. And even though I lost all those lings, I'm still up about 1,000 resources. So, not the greatest counterattack, but slowed him down a little bit. My lings obviously come out significantly much faster than his unit, so it wasn't too bad of a trade-off. And I'm just, once again, getting my army back, getting ready for the next confrontation. He is getting his upgrades. He's only... Oh no, this is ground armor. Yeah, he's getting his upgrades. That's another thing. I probably could have put down a second Evo chamber in this game and been getting double upgrades. At this point, I'm only 2-0, whereas he is at 2-2. About to get 3-3, so he's at a pretty big advantage there. I accidentally stopped building the missile attacks. Completely misclicked. I usually use roaches, so this is a pretty big mistake that I don't think I actually caught in the game. I think I let this finish. And I'm getting an Overseer Cocoon just to pick off any of his observers around his troops, just to kind of need to keep him guessing there. And at this point, I get my a Great Aspire, working up, as I mentioned earlier, 2 Brood Lords, which start coming pretty soon. The final battle's coming up in a couple minutes here. I get more Banelings. This is something I think I probably could have did better in hindsight, and will probably do in the future, is actually get more Banelings. At this point, I get 29, and that's actually what I stay at for the rest of the game, whereas I have 71 Zerglings. I think it's probably better maybe to go closer to 50-50 Ling Banelings, especially since Zerglings just build so fast. So I've got my Brood Lords, my Infestors, my Corruptors, my ground army here. I'm feeling pretty confident with how that last battle went, now that I know that I'm not going to mess up my neurals again. But, and this is why I was saying earlier about the creep spread not in a single line. He very intelligently circles around my line of creep as I send my units out here to attack me as well. And we go into a base race. I had briefly considered turning around, but thought that with my Brood Lords and all of my ground army, that this would be advantageous for me. Unfortunately, since you know that I lose this game, that's not the case. I'm just going to speed up here since not a whole lot happens other than this base race. He does eventually take me out, and it does go for another 6 minutes, so it's a very drawn out base race. I start building extractors all over the place. He builds pylons all over the base, all over the place. story. He doesn't even really have a base, but all over the map, as well as with me with my extractors. And unfortunately, he just outbuilds me and out DPSs my buildings. So, in conclusion, I actually kind of like this new build here with the Zergling Banelings. I think I could have had a few more Banelings and better creep spread, better map control, map vision. I think would have helped me a lot, as I would have been able to intercept his army. I also think this is probably pretty good map for the Ling Baneling, since it's fairly open and you can maneuver them around very well, which is obviously a big advantage to the Banelings and Lings because they're so maneuverable. And I had a couple small engagements where I tried to counterattack that didn't go as well as I probably could have. Yeah, so if you liked the video, leave a like and leave any comments if you want.